would rather live a short life of glory than a long one of obscurity. Alexander the Great, the legendary king of Macedonia, carved an indelible mark in history, not merely as a conqueror, but as a visionary whose ambitions redefined the known world. Born in 356 BCE, he grew into a leader who by the age of 30 had established one of the largest empires in history, stretching from Greece through Egypt and Persia to the edges of India. His life is a testament to the boundless potential of human ambition when coupled with strategic brilliance and relentless determination. Alexander was not content with mere conquest. His campaigns aimed to unite diverse cultures, spread Hellenistic ideals, and lay the foundation for a connected world. His leadership inspired his armies to achieve the impossible, driven by a shared belief in his vision. His words, preserved through history, reflect his unparalleled mindset, encapsulating lessons on leadership, ambition, and humanity that remain profoundly relevant. Alexander the Great's assertion, "I am not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep. I am afraid of an army of sheep led by a lion," captures the essence of leadership's transformative power. This quote speaks volumes about his understanding of the human spirit and the crucial role a leader plays in shaping collective potential. For Alexander, leadership was not merely about giving orders or holding authority. It was about inspiring a group of individuals to transcend their limitations and achieve greatness together. This principle was vividly demonstrated throughout his military campaigns. Alexander's charisma and strategic brilliance turned ordinary soldiers into an extraordinary force. Under his leadership, his army consistently achieved victories against seemingly insurmountable odds, such as the Battle of Gaugamela, where his forces, significantly outnumbered, defeated the vast Persian army. His ability to instill confidence, loyalty, and a sense of purpose in his troops turned them into a unified and unstoppable entity. It was not the strength of their numbers, but the strength of their belief in their leader and his vision that made them formidable. The lesson embedded in this quote extends far beyond the battlefield. It underscores the profound impact a leader can have on any collective effort, whether in an organization, a community, or even a family. A strong leader can ignite passion, foster trust, and channel individual strengths toward a shared goal, creating a dynamic that is far greater than the sum of its parts. Conversely, weak or uninspired leadership can squander even the most talented group, leaving their potential untapped. Alexander's insight challenges us to reflect on the qualities of effective leadership in our own lives. Are we guiding those we lead with clarity, courage, and vision? Do we inspire confidence and unity, or do we let opportunities falter due to a lack of direction? His words remind us that leadership is not about authority, but about influence, not about commanding, but about empowering. Ultimately, this quote is a call to recognize and cultivate the power of leadership in transforming groups into forces for greatness. It encourages us to strive for excellence, not just as individuals, but as part of a collective, united by shared goals and driven by a leader who embodies strength, vision, and unwavering resolve. Alexander's understanding of this principle is a timeless reminder that leadership is the cornerstone of success, whether on the battlefield or in the endeavors of everyday life. Alexander the Great's declaration, "There is nothing impossible to him who will try," encapsulates the boundless ambition and unshakable belief in human potential that defined his life. For Alexander, challenges were not obstacles to deter progress, but opportunities to demonstrate courage, determination, and resilience. This philosophy underpinned his approach to every endeavor, from the battlefield to the forging of alliances, enabling him to achieve feats that many deemed unattainable. One of the most striking examples of this mindset was his conquest of the Persian Empire. At the time, Persia was the most powerful empire in the known world, and its defeat seemed an impossible task for a smaller, less resourced Macedonian army. Yet, driven by his belief in the power of effort and determination, Alexander devised brilliant strategies, adapted to ever-changing circumstances, and inspired his troops to believe in their collective strength. The result was a series of victories that culminated in the complete overthrow of the Persian king Darius III and the annexation of his empire. Alexander's conviction extended beyond the battlefield. His desire to explore and integrate diverse cultures showcased his belief in the limitless possibilities of human connection and understanding. By founding cities like Alexandria, he created hubs of cultural exchange and learning that fostered innovation and unity among people of different backgrounds. These actions exemplify how his philosophy of effort and persistence transcended conquest, influencing every aspect of his leadership. The lesson of this quote is as relevant today as it was in Alexander's time. It reminds us that greatness often lies just beyond the barriers of fear and doubt. By committing to action and perseverance, even the most daunting challenges can become stepping stones to success. It encourages us to confront our limitations, not with resignation, but with the resolve to overcome them through effort and determination. Alexander the Great's profound observation: remember, upon the conduct of each depends the fate of all, serves as a timeless reminder of the interconnectedness of individual actions and collective outcomes. This principle was not just an abstract idea for Alexander. It was the foundation upon which he built his leadership, inspired his armies, and orchestrated his unparalleled campaigns. His understanding of this truth allowed him to lead one of the most cohesive and effective military forces in history, transforming a relatively small Macedonian kingdom into a vast empire spanning continents. In the heat of battle, Alexander's reliance on the conduct of each soldier was evident. He fostered a sense of shared purpose and personal responsibility among his troops, ensuring that every individual understood their role in the larger strategy. Unlike many rulers who distanced themselves from their armies, Alexander fought alongside his men, demonstrating that the conduct of the leader was just as critical as the actions of the rank-and-file soldiers. This shared camaraderie and mutual respect strengthened the bond within his army, making it a unified force capable of achieving extraordinary feats. A prime example of this philosophy in action was the Battle of Gaugamela in 331 BCE. Facing a vastly superior Persian force, Alexander's army was outnumbered but not outmatched. His troops' discipline and their unwavering commitment to their roles were pivotal to their success. Each soldier executed their part of the strategy with precision, creating a ripple effect that culminated in one of the most decisive victories in military history. This battle underscored Alexander's belief that the fate of the whole depended on the actions of the individual, a lesson that reverberates far beyond the battlefield. This principle also extended to his governance and vision for his empire. Alexander's leadership was characterized by his ability to empower others, from his generals to local governors, ensuring they acted in alignment with his overarching vision. He understood that no empire, no matter how vast, could thrive on the efforts of one man alone. Delegation, trust, and the expectation of excellence from his subordinates were central to his strategy. By holding everyone accountable to the collective mission, Alexander was able to maintain cohesion across the diverse and sprawling territories he conquered. However, Alexander's principle also carried a cautionary note. While he recognized the power of individual actions to contribute positively to a collective outcome, he was equally aware of the potential for a single misstep to jeopardize the entire group. Instances of betrayal or dissent within his ranks were met with swift action, as Alexander understood the delicate balance required to maintain unity. His leadership was a blend of inspiration and accountability, ensuring that the weight of individual responsibility was both a source of motivation and a safeguard against complacency. The resonance of this principle extends far beyond the context of Alexander's empire. In modern organizations, communities, and societies, the interplay between individual actions and collective well-being remains as critical as ever. Whether in a corporate setting where the success of a project hinges on the contributions of each team member, or in a broader societal context where the behavior of citizens shapes the health and progress of a nation, the truth of Alexander's words is inescapable. This idea also speaks to the power of leadership in cultivating a culture of accountability and shared purpose. A leader who recognizes and values the contributions of each individual can transform a group of disparate people into a unified force. Conversely, a lack of leadership or failure to emphasize the importance of individual conduct can lead to fragmentation and failure. Alexander's insight challenges us to reflect on our roles within the groups and communities we belong to. Are we contributing to the success of the whole, or are our actions creating obstacles? Are we leading by example, as Alexander did, or relying on others to carry the weight? These questions are as relevant today as they were in Alexander's time, offering a framework for evaluating our personal and collective impact. Ultimately, the lesson of remember, upon the conduct of each depends the fate of all, is a call to action. It reminds us that greatness is rarely achieved in isolation, and that our actions, no matter how small they may seem, have the power to influence outcomes on a larger scale. Alexander's leadership exemplified this truth, proving that when individuals align their efforts toward a common goal, the possibilities are boundless. For Alexander, this principle was more than a strategy. It was a belief in the potential of people to achieve extraordinary things when united by a shared purpose. His life and legacy challenge us to embrace this ethos in our own endeavors, inspiring us to strive for excellence, not just for ourselves, but for the collective good. In doing so, we honor the timeless wisdom of one of history's greatest leaders and reaffirm the enduring truth that the fate of all depends, in no small part, on the conduct of each. Alexander the Great's poignant reflection, "A tomb now suffices him for whom the world was not enough," encapsulates the paradox of ambition and mortality, spoken or attributed to him near the end of his life. This quote resonates as a deeply human acknowledgement of the limitations that even the most extraordinary figures face. For Alexander, a man whose conquests stretched from Greece to India, the observation is both humbling and profound. It challenges us to reflect on the nature of ambition, the pursuit of greatness, and the inevitable reality of our finite existence. To understand the full depth of this statement, we must first consider the scope of Alexander's achievements. By the age of 30, he had created one of the largest empires in history, uniting diverse cultures and peoples under a single banner. He toppled the mighty Persian Empire, founded cities that became centers of learning and culture, and spread Hellenistic ideals across continents. His vision was not limited to conquest. He sought to integrate the East and West, blending traditions and fostering unity. Yet, despite his unparalleled success, this quote reveals a man who, in his final moments, grappled with the ultimate truth: even the greatest empires cannot shield us from death. Alexander's life was driven by an insatiable desire for more land, more glory, more understanding of the world. This ambition was a defining characteristic of his personality and leadership. However, this relentless pursuit also highlights the fleeting nature of human accomplishment. For all his victories, Alexander ultimately faced the same fate as the humblest of men, a simple tomb to house his remains. The contrast between his boundless ambition and the stark reality of mortality serves as a sobering reminder of life's impermanence. The context in which Alexander likely reflected on this truth is equally significant. Toward the end of his life, he faced numerous challenges that tempered his grand ambitions. His army, exhausted from years of campaigning, grew resistant to his relentless push for expansion. In 324 BCE, after crossing into the Indian subcontinent and achieving significant victories, his soldiers refused to march further. They yearned for home, weary of the seemingly endless pursuit of conquest. For a leader accustomed to unyielding loyalty and success, this was a moment of reckoning. It forced Alexander to confront the limits of his influence, not just over the world, but over the hearts and minds of his men. Moreover, Alexander's untimely death at the age of 32 adds a layer of tragic irony to his reflection. Having achieved so much in such a short time, his life was abruptly cut short, leaving his grand vision for a unified empire incomplete. The circumstances of his death, whether from illness, poisoning, or exhaustion, remain a subject of historical debate, but the impact is undeniable. His empire, without his guiding hand, fractured into warring factions, undermining the very unity he had fought so hard to achieve. The fragility of his accomplishments underscores the limits of even the greatest human efforts when measured against the inexorable passage of time. Yet, Alexander's quote is not merely a lament. It also offers a profound lesson. It invites us to consider the balance between ambition and contentment, between striving for greatness and appreciating the present. In his relentless pursuit of enough, Alexander achieved what most could only dream of. Yet his reflection suggests a realization that the chase itself is never truly fulfilling. For modern readers, this wisdom is both humbling and empowering. It reminds us to cherish the moments, relationships, and values that endure beyond material success or worldly recognition. This quote also challenges us to question the legacy we wish to leave behind. For Alexander, his empire may have crumbled, but the cultural and intellectual exchange he initiated continued to shape civilizations long after his death. The cities he founded, particularly Alexandria in Egypt, became enduring symbols of knowledge and progress. His legacy, though imperfect, demonstrates that true greatness lies not in the permanence of our achievements, but in the impact we have on others and the world. Furthermore, Alexander's reflection serves as a meditation on the nature of mortality itself. No matter how far we reach, how much we achieve, or how powerful we become, the end is universal and inevitable. This realization does not diminish the value of ambition, but rather contextualizes it, urging us to pursue greatness with humility and an awareness of life's fragility. In recognizing our limitations, we gain the clarity to focus on what truly matters, creating meaning, fostering connections, and leaving a legacy that transcends the material. For leaders and dreamers alike, this quote is both a cautionary tale and an inspiration. It reminds us that ambition must be tempered with perspective, that our drive for more should not blind us to the beauty and significance of what we already have. Alexander's life, with all its triumphs and tragedies, exemplifies the duality of human aspiration. the desire to leave an indelible mark on the world, and the inevitability of returning to the earth like all who came before us. As we reflect on the life and words of Alexander the Great, a tomb now suffices him for whom the world was not enough. We are reminded that the pursuit of greatness is a noble endeavor, but it is the journey, the values we uphold, and the impact we have on others that define our legacy. In this paradox of ambition and mortality lies the true essence of what it means to live a life of purpose and meaning. Alexander's reflection is not just a statement of his own life, but a timeless lesson for us all. Alexander the Great's declaration, "I would rather live a short life of glory than a long one of obscurity," reveals his unwavering commitment to a life of purpose, ambition, and impact. For Alexander, existence was not measured in years, but in the magnitude of one's achievements and the legacy left behind. This philosophy of embracing bold risks and prioritizing glory over longevity was a defining characteristic of his leadership and his extraordinary journey. From an early age, Alexander demonstrated a profound understanding of the fleeting nature of time and the importance of making every moment count. His education under the great philosopher Aristotle instilled in him a sense of intellectual curiosity and a drive to achieve greatness. However, it was his own insatiable ambition that propelled him to seek not just victories, but a lasting place in history. He did not aspire to live an ordinary life extended over decades. Instead, he sought a life that would echo through eternity, even if it meant burning brightly and briefly. This philosophy manifested in his relentless pursuit of conquest. At the age of 20, following the assassination of his father, King Philip II of Macedonia, Alexander ascended to the throne. Rather than consolidating power within his kingdom and ensuring his personal security, Alexander immediately embarked on a campaign to fulfill his father's dream of conquering Persia. This decision, marked by immense risk, set the tone for his rule. He embraced danger, knowing that only through audacity could he achieve the glory he sought. One of the most illustrative examples of this mindset was his decision to cross the Hellespont and engage the Persian forces in the Battle of Granicus. Despite being vastly outnumbered, Alexander personally led his troops into battle, exposing himself to tremendous danger. His willingness to place himself at the forefront inspired his men and cemented their loyalty, leading to a resounding victory that paved the way for his later conquests. For Alexander, each triumph was not merely a step toward territorial expansion, but a moment to solidify his legacy as a leader who dared to defy the odds. Alexander's approach to leadership in life was not without controversy. Critics argue that his obsession with glory led to unnecessary risks, not only for himself, but for his troops and his empire. The grueling campaigns in Persia and India, for instance, came at great cost in terms of human lives and resources. His insistence on pushing further east, even as his soldiers grew weary and dissent began to brew, highlights the tension between his personal quest for glory and the practical considerations of empire building. Yet, these very risks underscore his commitment to his ideals. For Alexander, a life of mediocrity was no life at all. The statement also invites us to reflect on the deeper philosophical question of what constitutes a meaningful life. Alexander's pursuit of glory was rooted in his desire to achieve immortality through his deeds, to ensure that his name would be remembered long after his time. His actions demonstrate an understanding that while physical life is finite, the impact one makes can endure. This perspective challenges us to think about our own aspirations. Are we content with living comfortably and quietly? Or are we willing to take bold steps to leave a mark on the world? Despite his monumental achievements, Alexander's life was ultimately a tragic reminder of the limitations of human ambition. He died at the age of 32, leaving behind an empire that soon fractured in his absence. The brevity of his life forces us to confront the cost of pursuing greatness. Was it worth sacrificing a longer life for the glory he achieved? Alexander himself might argue that it was, for his name and legacy continue to be revered centuries after his death. His story invites us to weigh the value of living a life that resonates, even if it is brief, against the safety of obscurity and extended years. In today's world, Alexander's words take on new meaning. They challenge us to define what glory means in our own context. For some, it may be the pursuit of professional excellence or creative expression. For others, it might be about making a difference in their communities or leaving a legacy for their families. The essence of his statement is not about literal conquest, but about living authentically and fearlessly, striving for a life that aligns with our deepest values and aspirations. Alexander's philosophy also underscores the importance of taking risks and stepping outside our comfort zones. In a time when stability and caution are often prioritized, his example reminds us that extraordinary achievements require extraordinary courage. Whether it's pursuing a career change, starting a venture, or standing up for a cause we believe in, the willingness to embrace uncertainty is what separates a life of impact from one of complacency. I would rather live a short life of glory than a long one of obscurity is both an invitation and a challenge. It asks us to consider how we define a life well lived and encourages us to pursue our passions with intensity and purpose. Alexander's life, though brief, was a testament to this ethos. He reminds us that greatness is not measured in years, but in the depth and breadth of our impact. For those who dare to dream and act boldly, his words resonate as a timeless call to live fully and leave a legacy that transcends time. Alexander the Great's life was a symphony of brilliance, ambition, and introspection. His story teaches us that true greatness is not measured by the length of one's life, but by the depth of one's impact. Through his vision, he united a world divided, proving that leadership transcends borders and cultures when guided by purpose and determination. His reflections, such as, "A tomb now suffices him for whom the world was not enough," remind us of life's impermanence and the need to balance ambition with humanity. Alexander's legacy is more than the empires he built. It is a testament to dreaming boldly and acting decisively. His achievements challenge us to define our own path of greatness, inspiring us to leave a mark that resonates long after we are gone.